What's up, Wargamers? We're back, and Games Workshop has officially announced the contents of the new Age of Sigmar 2.0 starter set, and they're calling it Soul Wars, and it's being packaged up a lot like the 8th edition starter box for 40K, so we like that. It comes with a full core rulebook, appears to be hard copy, and then we've also got some other expansions that will be coming out the very first week of release to help bolster your forces. Now, those are mostly models that we had previously assumed were going to be used for Shadespire, but it looks like even though they have sculpted bases, those are going to be new models that will be out for Age of Sigmar and are not going to be used for Shadespire, at least from the get-go, which has us wondering, are Games Workshop models going to switch to the sculpted bases approach that Shadespire has? And that would be a very interesting idea if they do. Some will like it, some won't. But speaking of liking it, go ahead and make sure that you hit that like button and let YouTube and other people out there know that you like videos about Games Workshop, Warhammer, and other wargaming related news. So let's go ahead and dive into what the heck is going on and what comes in the starter box. So let's refresh here and let's go take a look. This is Soul Wars. We'll skip the video, that way you guys can get a look at the contents. And here's an animation of the breakdown of what's inside that box. It's got a sleeve and an insert box just like the 8th edition 40K box, and it's got some booklets as well as a full core rulebook. So let's take a look. This is a really poor image. You're not able to really see a lot, but this is the official contents splayed into some grave site scenery. But it's really hard to get to take a look at it. So let's go ahead and take a look closer up. Here's one of the sprues that has the character on it, as well as a couple other characters. There's really not a lot of substance to a lot of these Knighthaunt characters, being that they're ethereal and mostly just floating on air. It is the army of bed sheets. So many people are wearing bed sheets for Halloween this year. It'll be interesting to see who can cosplay that next year without any legs. But here we go. We've got what's in the Stormcast side of the faction. We have a Lord-Arcanum on Gryph-Charger. And then we've got a Knight-Incantor here up front, and 3 Evocators that are right next to it. So those are wizard warriors who enhance the strength of their allies and obliterate foes with chains and celestial lightning. So magic is definitely going to be a strong element here, it seems, at least with the starter box of Age of Sigmar 2.0. And are you guys calling it 2nd edition, or are you guys calling it 2.0? What are you guys calling it? Because he certainly doesn't seem like you can call it Soul Wars. We're getting 5 Castigators. Those are the crossbow-wielding foes right behind there. They've also got crystalline bombs. 8 Sequitors that are like Liberators. So interesting that we're getting either 2 units of 4 or 1 big unit of 8. They're not being sold in 5s like the Liberators were. And then a Celestar Ballista. So this is different because you guys are actually getting a war machine here in your starter box. So that's quite different than what we may have been expecting from Games Workshop. Let's go ahead and close that up and scroll down. Now look at the Nighthaunts. These guys are getting a lot of models, and there's new paints coming out too that we've seen before from Warhammer Fest. So there's not going to be a lot of excuses as to why you're not getting your Nighthaunt army painted up and on the battlefield in a timely manner. But here's what you get all the way in the back. Hiding in the upper left corner is the Knight of Shrouds on Ethereal Steed. We've got a Lord Executioner, a Guardian of Souls, and then you have 20 Chainrasps from the Chainrasps horde, 4 Spirit Torments, and those guys are kind of here with the bells, or no, 4 is the Spirit Torment, 4 Grimghast Reapers right here, one of them has the bell, and 5 of the Glaivewraith Stalkers. And then those are going to be your starter box contents, which is a heck of a lot of units and troops to be able to put inside. That's not where it stops. Take a look at this. You're going to get a scenario book. You're going to get the core rules, which is actually going to be a full rule book, supposedly, and a start here guide, as well as some dice, some decals, and a nice little range rule to help get you started. So it says here, firstly, you'll find a getting started booklets, 32 pages, or there's a 32-page book, Battle for Glimsforge, which will be your scenario book, detailing the battles of this new Stormcast Chamber and the Nighthaunts. Then we're going to get 13 War Scroll cards, which these things right here are lifesavers, not just for people who are getting into the game, but nobody's going to have played with these models before. And it's got your stats here in the upper left, the image of the model so you don't forget which one it actually is, their stats, and then all their special rules. and usually there's artwork on the back of it that helps keep it interesting. So this right here is a good gaming aid. These are some of the best things you can get for your army. It says, to top it off, you'll get the complete core rulebook of the new edition. It's a 320-page rulebook. So this is cool. They've got the female Sigmar Liberator, which is interesting because she's not in the new starter box, but the Liberators have certainly been a guiding beacon for Warhammer Age of Sigmar. And then here's a look. It's got a nice little golden colored page marker. It does appear to be hard copy. So, and it's even illuminated a lot like some old books. So that's really cool. I do like that a lot. Here's a sneak peek at some of the pages. There's going to be tons of artwork in here. That'll be really key, I think, to helping, because they're basically not only rebooting the game, in my opinion, but they're trying to make it have more mass appeal to a wider audience. So they're going to have to not only tackle the 40K player base to try to convert them over to Age of Sigmar, but they're going to have to tackle the D&D players, the other Pathfinder players, also people who are playing other games out there, like games from Privateer Press and so on. So they're definitely going to have to take even more market share, which is kind of crazy considering that they're already a juggernaut in the space. I'm tripping on my words today, but this is a lot of excitement, no doubt, from Games Workshop. So we'll skip past quite a bit of that, but here's some more aids that you can buy that will be extra on the release on the release weekend. This is going to be a big box. This is going to be, you can tell it's even got a carrying handle on it, and this is another hardbound book. This reminds me of when the Bretonnian box came out, Bretonnian and Lizardman, and then you had to buy the Warhammer Magic box separately to get your spell cards and stuff like that. They're kind of going back to it, but now because there's permanent and lasting spells, each spell is going to have a model to represent it. So this is interesting. I don't know if these are going to be a full-on requirement if you have a sorcerer that's going to cast the spell, or if there's going to be cardboard templates in the new starter box to represent these. But these are essentially the living spells that'll have area of effect or move across the battlefield, things like that. So this is quite interesting. There's Soul Snare Shackles, those three in the front, going to bind people down to the earth. A painting guide comes in there, so that's interesting. Here is the General's Handbook, another hardbound book, it appears, and not a softbound book like the original General's Handbook that we had. I don't know if there's any new models in there. It's worth a look because they always could be teasing them. It does appear to be just the existing model range, but a cool one as is, and I've certainly been neglecting my Kharadron Overlords. I haven't put together my last Getting Started box. What a great value on those guys. Here's the two new paints, Hexwraith and Knighthaunt. So whether you want to go green or go blue, that's totally up to you. I don't think any of these will glow in the dark, but they're essentially a sort of glaze that'll be going onto your models that you could presumably spray them white or spray them a bone color. I don't think you necessarily want to do bone, considering we're trying to make it look like these guys are immaterial or ethereal, as you'll say, because these won't have an armor save that'll be modified by anything other than magic. Here is a range rule that you'll be able to get, a combat rule, some scenery or objective markers, some special dice. Those appear to be chaotic. Those might be, what are those for here? Scenario dice. Interesting. For rolling on a scenario table. Here's an odd die. What is that? A D. This is going to be interesting. So are these all included there inside the... no, these are just accessories. So I guess they're just doing random. But here's what we really want to know, right? All the people that are addicted to the plastic crack is what are the other models. So here's 3 more models to bolster your guys. Loving those bases. I'm shocked that these aren't going out for Shadespire. Really confused as to why they wouldn't, because they really are Shadespire-esque. Here's 3 more plus a loyal Gryph. That is a very proud Gryph. He's peacocking there. Then here we've got 4 more of these guys to bolster your force along with a musician. And it made me almost think, like, is this the equivalent to, like, the starter box gives you your units, and this is where you buy your command set? Although we're actually seeing a totally new unit here with these Banshees. So what's the official name on those guys? Mirmorn Banshees. So these don't have a body. They're just floating with armor and daggers and a sheet. They do look a little bit like something out of Lord of the Rings, but these guys are pretty cool females. These females are pretty cool models. So go ahead and comment what you think. What are you most excited for about Age of Sigmar 2.0? Is it just the models? Is it the rules update? Are you looking forward to playing one of the new factions that are coming out, or is you just looking to play everything as is? It'll probably be pretty easy to get one of the new core books from somebody who's buying a starter set at a much better value or off of eBay, something like that. But would like to see your comments down below. Thanks for tuning in.